What's up guys, Damian Keys here. Welcome to the channel which is dedicated to you the musician and your music career. Now everyone is looking at improving and getting to the next level, but the most effective way to get to that next level is to be the best version of you can be.
I wanna be the very best.
And that's where practice comes in. Practice makes perfect, but effective practice makes perfect, and that's what we've been looking at in these two videos. So in the last video, part 1, you can see it probably in the link down below, we talked about the 10,000 hour rule to become an expert, to be world class in something. We talked about how you can minimize that so it isn't actually 10,000 hours. We talked about effective practicing and an overview of your practicing. But in this video, part 2, I'm going to give you my top 10 tips on how you can maximize your time so you can improve at a much faster rate. But before we start, if you can do me a favor, if you can hit that like button and mash that subscribe button. I know I've heard YouTubers say that before. And more importantly, come and be a part of this community and leave a comment below. Okay, on to my top 10 tips. Tip number 1, are you recording your practice time? And by that, I mean with this. This is now a TV studio and a music studio in one tiny little magic box. Are you using this to improve? Because this can really help. I would advise you to set up your video camera on your phone and record yourself practice every single time. The fastest way of improving is to know exactly what you need to improve. So why not set up a video camera and record yourself so you can see every aspect of your playing, what is working and what isn't working. Tip number 2 is to review that process. Once you've recorded yourself practice, I would schedule time for you to watch that back, but I would get a pen and paper and I would be looking for any aspects that you can see that you need to improve so you can write a list. Again, going back to the first video, the more you can break this stuff down and master the 1%, the faster you will improve. Tip number 3, practicing with a metronome. This is the fastest way to improve your timing and your technique. But so many musicians aren't using a metronome when they practice. So many musicians will pick up their instrument and just start playing away. But you're not playing to a click. You're not getting tighter with a click. And anyone who's telling me right now, you don't need to play with a click because it takes away the feel, fuck off, does it take away your feel? If it takes away a feel, that's your playing and your feel. That's not the metronome's fault. This metronome will absolutely revolutionize your playing if you let it. The ability to manipulate that click, to be able to pull back that timing a little bit to make something sound more powerful and in control, or to push it slightly to sound a bit more exciting. Well, you need to have a click to be able to work on that. So if you are practicing, always, always, always have a metronome to hand. And if you don't have one, just Google metronome and there are free ones on YouTube or on the App Store. Tip number 4, always include a warm-up routine into your practice schedule. Now there's 2 reasons for this. Number 1, you don't want to get tendinitis or whatever the tendinitis-y version is of your throat. But also on top of that, you want to be able to go into practicing without being frustrated, because when you start to play something that you think that you should be able to play and can't, it starts to get frustrating and that can ruin your practice schedule. So making sure that you are warmed up and ready to go into what you're about to practice really makes a huge difference to your mental state of mind as well as your muscles. Tip number 5, don't practice your mistakes. Something I see musicians doing all of the time is playing things just a little bit too fast and practicing their mistakes again and again. What you're doing is you're telling your muscle memory and your brain exactly what you should be doing, but you shouldn't, because it's a mistake. And if you keep making that same mistake again and again and again, you are hammering it home and you will start to put that into the piece that you're playing. So therefore, slow it down, take a breath and get it right, and then build it up from there. Tip number 6, patience. Don't play things which are a little bit too fast or a little bit too slow. Play things which are comfortable, but you are working on the genius in the attention to detail. Go back to the last video where we talked about how well you can break things down and master the 1%. Tip number 7, practicing slowly can be equally as hard as practicing quickly. And anyone who doesn't believe me, go and ask a drummer to play a shuffle groove at 40 beats per minute. That shit is really, really tough. And then to make that sound world class, now That's incredibly, incredibly tough. So stop trying to play faster and faster and faster, and I want you to try and play slower and slower and slower. Get that metronome down to next to nothing so that you are holding your own. Tip number 8, reward yourself. Now you're setting these targets and goals and you're working towards them, but what happens when you hit them? You should reward yourself, because that then gives you the onus to go on and work on the next challenge. So whether you reward yourself with some chocolate, or as Morgan suggested, a lap dance, is up to you, but make sure you reward yourself. Tip number 9, eliminate distractions. This is a little fucker for putting you off and distracting your practice routine. So turn off your notifications. In fact, why not turn off your phone? If you want to maximize that hour, this needs to be out of sight unless you are using it for an app for your practice. Otherwise, turn off your notifications and let's get some shit done for that hour. And tip number 10, enjoy your practice. Now, I know I'm giving you loads of ideas on how you can structure and make it more organized, and a lot of the time that will take a bit of fun away. But this is practicing. This is what you love to do, and this is what you want to spend your life doing. So make sure you enjoy practicing, because you're going to be doing this for a long time. So whether it's playing certain tracks that you love to do to break things up, whether it's taking breaks when you need to, don't force it so much that you lose the passion for your playing and your practice. So that's it. Thanks for watching my top 10 tips for effective practicing. If you haven't seen the first video, then go back and watch that, because I really think that's so crucial to the overview of your practice. But otherwise, if you can hit the like, hit the subscribe, more importantly, come and be a part of this community and come and say hi. Thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow.